Hello, Sweet Islanders. Welcome to SaltSpringLife's first weekly Roundup. My name's Jai Wilson, and here are some of the stories we got to cover this week. Fire Chief Jamie Holmes spoke to me about the new fire hall and how we've broken ground recently, and he talks to me about the benefits of the new location and the building. I had the opportunity to connect with John Howe, founding member of the 100 Men Who Care, and he discusses the generous donation to Tree Frog Daycare and what those funds will be used for. I caught up with Kajan and Toto, two individuals involved in Gabriel's Kitchen, a new food security initiative for the island that provides an opportunity for people to come together, cook, and connect. And lastly, I got to take a cold plunge with naturopathic doctor Patrick Callis, and I asked him to share some tips and recommendations about moving into the dark season and what we can do to support both our mental and physical health. All in all, it was a fantastic week on our little piece of paradise of Salt Spring. First up, I spoke with Jamie Holmes, fire chief, about what him and his team are looking forward to about the new fire hall. Hello, Salt Spring. This is Jai with Salt Spring Life, and today I have the pleasure to be with Fire Chief Jamie Holmes. Jamie, I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what you and your team are excited about for the new site since we're breaking ground at Brinkworthy.
Yeah, so the biggest thing with the new site is obviously going to be that we're going to have a building that supports operations versus hinders it. So that's really key in the new site is that there'll be better training rooms, better space for training, better hose tower for training and also for the equipment, more room around the equipment. Right now doors open up into walls and there's no clear walking paths around. You can see our gear is stored in the truck bays where we're standing and things like that versus dedicated space. So really that the whole operations, better, more workshop area, SCBA, dedicated clean SCBA room for our breathing apparatus and all that. So really the new building is going to support operations much better. On top of that, the biggest caveat is it will actually be post-disaster. So right now, in any even small seismic event, this building has been identified as notwithstanding even a small shake. So the new building being post-disaster is going to be monumental. And then the other side of it, we're partnering with CRD in the emergency program to have a branch operations center in the case of island-wide emergencies to be able to work out of there as well. So some partnerships to help as well. So.
Yeah, that's great. So there'll be some efficiency coming together in that partnership. And what will that more spaciousness and more ability to train kind of translate to for the community and service and how that might change?
Yeah, so obviously the fire service, we adapt and we overcome to any situations, and that's what we work on. But having said that, in the new building and being set up properly, well, now it just becomes more efficient and becomes better. And so, the training room right now is very confined. We can't have only a classroom with desk setting of 12 students, and we have 50 members in the department. So, staggering classrooms and things like that. At this point, the new area will be able to have everybody in the class at the same time, working together. And then if you do want smaller situations, it's also dividable, and then being able to use multiple spaces at once kind of thing. So, and then, our equipment and the trucks. Right now, this building gets moldy, moisture in it from the hose and the trucks being out in the rain. The new building just having the airflow and efficiencies, which is then better on equipment and safer on equipment. Being able to do in-house repairs, on some of our smaller tools and things like that, because we don't have the workshop space and be able to do that right now. So it's kind of building on those efficiencies, so the equipment is down less time. The equipment is more in the station, but then also a quicker turnaround. things like that. So,
No, that's great. I really appreciate you giving us some explanation around that. And while I got you, is there anything else you'd like to share with the community around operations or moving into the dark season? Any recommendations for us?
yeah, well, certainly just it is daylight savings darker, certainly going home. We have, or I noticed personally driving home, still lots of people wearing dark clothes, walking on the sides, and unfortunately the street lighting is not great outside of Ganges. And so just trying to make sure people have reflective clothes on. The snow is coming. Hate to tell everybody that it is coming. So make sure your tires are ready to go. If you don't have good tires or a vehicle, then please stay home when the weather goes back. I know transit and the highways departments do a great job of keeping the transit route running and stuff like that. So there all are alternatives rather than taking a vehicle that shouldn't be on the road in the winter time out. So that would be on that side. Just a final note on the building, we have broken ground. People are starting to see stuff happening up on the new ground. There will be some changes. I know the pathway, may be interrupted at times and things like that, and we want to just assure the community that we are working on trying to make sure that there are alternatives. There was some trees and things removed for the time, kind of the blackberries and stuff out front, but there is a whole landscaping plan for the future there, and we are planning on putting benches in and having rest areas. There'll probably be some sort of retention pond that we require for drainage, and so we're looking at building things around there to make this a community space as well. At the end of the day, the new fire hall houses the fire department, but it is a community space, and we want to make sure that that's going to be available for the community outside, aesthetically pleasing and areas, and also inside. There will be rooms that should be available for rent based on when they're not being used for emergency services and things like that. So we really want. We know that we're stewards of this building, and it is a community building, and the fire department is just maintaining it and having it ready for public use. So.
I really appreciate that. That's nicely articulated, Jamie. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you and your team and everything you do to support this island. So thank you very much, and thanks so much for the time today.
Thank you.
100 Men Who Care for Children founder John Howe took a walk with me in the forest to discuss the recent donation to Tree Frog Daycare. This was a whopping $10,500, and we discuss what the pitch was and how the daycare plans to use those funds. This is Jai from Salt Spring Life, and I've got the pleasure today to catch up with my good friend John Howe, who is the founding member of the Salt Spring chapter of 100 Men That Care. John, I was hoping to find out a little bit more about the Tree Frog Daycare and what their pitch was, and why do you think that resonated with the members in this last meeting?
Well, we had 3 really good nominations at our last meeting, but Tree Frog Daycare tended to sway the audience, I think, because of the immediacy of their request. They could tell us exactly what they were going to use the money for, and we could see tangentially what exactly they were going to do with the money, and it seemed to resonate with the membership. It was a concrete project that we could wrap our heads around quite easily.
And what was that project, if you remember?
They were going to use the money to create a garden and an outdoor space at the Tree Frog Nursery, and they were also going to use some of the money to help them the stopgap measure from when they had to close at COVID time and to starting up again. So they're going to build a garden, and they were also going to use some of the money to get themselves back up and running since COVID.
Beautiful. And that was $10,500 from one meeting. What an amazing contribution.
It is. It's a very simple concept about 100 men. 45 minutes, $10,000, and can make a significant difference.
No doubt. And what are some of the other organizations that have benefited from the contributions?
I think in the 3 years that we've been here on Salt Spring, I think it's up to $80,000 that we've donated to the community. through our membership. So a couple of the projects was a new floor at Beaver Point Hall, a water catchment system at Fulford Hall, startup of the laundromat through Community Health Services. We also gave to the Salt Spring Community Health Association. They were starting up a project. So there's been some real concrete projects. We gave to Islands Pathways as well to help create walking paths and biking paths on Salt Springs. And so sometimes it's a concrete project, and sometimes it's startup money or money to keep things going.
Wonderful. And if I'm a nonprofit, how do I get my proposal in front of your group?
It's a really easy process. We have a website. It's 100menwhocare.org. So you go on there and you look for the nomination form. You fill out the nomination form. You do have to be a registered charity. Or if you're not, you have to be affiliated with one that is. Fill out the form, and that's it. Someone from the organization will contact you, helps you prepare for your presentation, and then you come to the meeting and present.
Beautiful. I appreciate you, John, and everything you guys are doing. In Salt Spring Island, you can get involved with 100 men, and certainly there's 100 women that care as well on the island. So both amazing organizations. Thanks so much for your time, John.
Thank you. It's been great to be here.
You can't stroll through Ganges or even drive through Ganges without noticing the ruckus at Centennial Park. There's all sorts of heavy equipment ripping up the concrete and working on the planned upgrades for new drainage, lighting, furnishings, different landscaping, and all of this is planned to be done by March 2024, just in time for market season. I had the opportunity to connect with Kajun and Toto at Gifts, the present location of Gabriel's Kitchen, to learn more about this important and new community food security initiative. Hello, Salt Spring. This is Jai with Salt Spring Life, and tonight I have the good fortune to be at Gifts with a host of characters to talk about Gabriel's Kitchen, a new initiative that brings people together around cooking and food as a way to connect and have the opportunity to share in this fundamental beauty of eating together. And first I'm going to pass off to Kajun, who is a community advocate and someone that's involved in the organization of this. Thanks, Kajun.
Okay, thank you. Hello. I guess first we'll talk about why it's called Gabriel's Kitchen. Some people might remember a friend of ours. His name was Gabriel Bonga, and he was a Salt Springer for, I think he was here for about 22 years, and he ran something called Stone Soup for about 5 years. He would make soup, 2 big pots of soup, 1 vegetarian, 1 meat, and serve it at Peace Park every Thursday. Anyway, he was much beloved by a lot of people in our community, and sadly, he died in 2020, in May of 2020, in a boating accident. At the time he passed is when the idea for this project started materializing. It was the recognition, from having been here for some time and living with Gabriel, who was himself food insecure quite a lot of the time, that life is really difficult when you don't have a place to prepare food. We were hitting up the food bank, and in the middle of the summer, we would find things like, we'd get vegetables, and if we didn't cook them within a day, they were done. Your broccoli would turn yellow in the heat, and so on. And so somebody, a friend of mine actually, Dan LaSalle, was talking to me at Blackburn Lake and was like, what we really need is a community kitchen, a place where people can cook for themselves. And the light bulb went off, and the seeds for this project were planted the month that Gabriel passed away. I put a post out on Facebook with images of a community kitchen type situation and describing a project where, departing a bit from the idea of a soup kitchen, you'd have a place where people can gather to cook food for themselves and other people. And we actually started raising funds around that time. I'm also part of a group called Chuan Society, along with Toto, and we applied for a grant at the beginning of this year. Our very first grant application from Vancouver Island Health Authority, and we got the acceptance, and then we started looking for a kitchen. we've been having a relationship with gifts since the past year and a half. We know a lot of the people who work here. We're friends with people who are on the board. We're friends with the clients. And they were doing renovations here, and so we started talking to them about the possible use of their kitchen once a week. And we got the permission for that, and we started on Thanksgiving Monday, the 9th of October. Since then, we've done 5 dinners with rotating cooks. We have limited space here. We've only got 1 oven and 1 fridge, so we've got to work around the use of this space, which for the rest of the week is for the clients. But word's been getting out, and we started receiving donations as well. So we're getting an average of about 40 to 50 people per dinner. We serve on Saturday between 2 and 6 p.m. We're open, but 5 p.m. is when we serve. Yeah, it's been going really good. The past week, actually, like at least half our food was donated. We got donations through Matt Risling at the Rock Salt for 10 kilos of sirloin roast. that was a treat. And then we presented at the Farmland Trust, had a gathering at the Root, and we talked about the project. We got a lot of support there too. And Grow Local Salt Spring Island gave us a grant, an additional grant to the grant we had received. And Sue from Duck Creek Farm and Eland offered food as well. So today we went and picked up almost all you see on the table there comes from Duck Creek Farm. We got radishes, we got tomatillos, we got fennel, we got carrots. So we're doing a combination of buying from local groceries and trying to encourage as much connection to local food growers as possible. So yeah, we're in our first month of operation, and we're serving our 6th dinner tomorrow. Yeah.
And I'd just like to ask you, so what exactly is the invitation to the community for those that would like to donate and contribute, or those that would like to participate, or those that would like to make new friends and connect with new people? Like, how does one get involved, and what exactly kind of works, I guess, in the present state of Gabriel's Kitchen?
Okay. Well, there's lots of ways to contribute. We have a grant, but we still have, the cost of food. The food of cost has gone up. And so one of the things that's really going to help us is things like gift cards, for example. We have received some private donations. We are going to be appealing to our local grocery stores to see if we could get some help in that way. Gabriel actually got a lot of help from Country Grocers for all the 5 years that he did his soup. So we're hoping to make that connection. Aside from that, come check us out on Saturdays between 2 and 6. Come talk to the cooks or the volunteers or the people who come here to eat. I know this project is mostly designed to meet the needs of people who are food insecure, but if you're feeling guilty about it, please don't. Just bring something to eat. We're inviting people to kind of potluck. If they want to come bring an extra dish. We only have so much capacity to cook here, so it's always welcome to know that somebody else is going to bring something. And if you get in touch with us ahead of time, we get to match it with our menu. You can easily find us on Facebook at Gabriel's Kitchen, and I will make sure to put our contact email there. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Perhaps, Toto, you'd like to add to the conversation? It's a pleasure to have you here. If I can pass you the mic.
Hi, my name's Toto. Involved in a variety of ways with Gabriel's Kitchen, which is an amazing program, and we hope to develop it, as Kajan said, for a full week, a place where people can cook for each other. We found it's such a nice thing, and you end up making really beautiful dishes because it comes from love.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Really appreciate the time and hearing about Gabriel's Kitchen and just the work that you guys have done to bring this into fruition and create a beautiful space where people can eat and be together.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Jed.
Thanks. Daylight savings was just last week, as you all are aware, and the dark season impacts me like many people. So I figured it was a good opportunity to speak to Patrick Callis, a naturopathic doctor at Madrona Health, and I thought he could give us some tips about how to handle it better and how to support our body. And hey, I'm a fan of anybody that will talk to me while submerging ourselves in the frigid waters off Bettis Beach. All right, folks, we are here. I'm Jai from Salt Spring Life, and I'm here with Patrick Callis, naturopathic doctor here on Salt Spring Island out of Madrona Health. And we are talking about the dark season.
Yeah.
And let us go into the water as we talk. And I'm hoping Patrick can support us in feeling more vital, feeling more supported in our mind and body as we head into the dark.
I'm thrilled.
Woo!
And cold.
So, what are some of your recommendations, my friend? Woo!
Wow. Daylight. So getting some light within the first few hours of waking. Whoa, this is gonna be fun to talk. It's super crucial. And if it's dark and cloudy, anything counts. Or you could get a full spectrum satellite or full spectrum light and get that within the first 2 hours of waking. Get a good 15-20 minutes of it in your eyeballs. And if it's sunny or even a little bit sun in the distance, go get that. And it's most crucial in the first couple hours.
So you're not staring into the light.
No, you're not doing the Donald Trump in the clips. No, it's not a good idea.
But you want it on your face, is that right? The sunlight?
Yeah, you want to get it on your face. There's been some interesting technology where they actually get earplugs that project full spectrum light in your ears.
Oh,
that
wow.
might help a little bit, but it's a little bit controversial.
Okay.
But harmless.
Okay, that's
I wouldn't
interesting.
spend a lot of money, but fascinating because there's actually receptors in the ears that can sense light, strangely enough.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And what other things? Anything around diet, exercise, cold plunging perhaps?
Contrast in temperatures.
Okay.
Yeah, all it takes is anywhere from 30 seconds up to 2 minutes. And it will increase your dopamine and norepinephrine for several hours later. That's why we feel so whoa, awake, which the sun does to some degree as well.
Right.
Plus, so
when you're waking up
happy pleasure hormones.
That's what I'm talking about.
More of them.
Let us get the happy going. And anything around diet or supplements that you would recommend at this time of year?
Supplements is a big topic. I would definitely get some vitamin D.
Okay.
Most of us are deficient. We need more, and we're not getting enough from sunlight, even in the summer probably. So get those levels tested, optimize. Optimal is 120 to 130 nanomoles per liter. So 120, 130 is what you want to aim for. Most of us are sitting around 50 to 60, which is half where we need to be.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Good for mood, good for energy, anti-inflammatory, good for the bones. The list goes on. It's a super powerful vitamin. It's actually a hormone. Vitamin D is the sunshine hormone. It's funny we call it a vitamin, but
okay, so it's actually
crucial.
A hormone,
and
it's cheap, and you can buy it
totally
anywhere.
Cheap.
Yeah.
And Health Canada has a very conservative recommendation of 1,000 IUs or 1 dose a day. It's not enough for the vast majority of people. It leaves us still deficient or vaguely above deficiency.
Okay.
So I always like to say it's people are I'm getting my RDA of vitamin C. I got 100% in this food, and I was getting above that mark is saying it's not optimal. It's I'm not going to get scurvy. That's the cutoff line. I'm not in scurvy zone right now.
Yeah.
I think we want to achieve something a little bit better.
Raise the bar a little bit.
Yeah, significantly, especially in the winter. And then for diet in the winter, I'm sure some people feel this is controversial, especially the raw vegans out there, but warm foods, and if you're a raw foodist and you're adapted to doing it, good for you. I'm not going to discourage that. Diet takes a huge variety, but warming foods, whether it's hot spices and ginger and wasabi, or just cooked broth stews and things in the winter because it's cold, we need to bring that chi up, bring out that inner energy, and just give ourselves a bit. Things are easier to digest and that are going to warm us up.
Nice. Okay.
In the winter.
Nice.
Woo!
Woo! Yes, I need some miso soup to warm me up right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And if people want to customize a plan for themselves, they can come and see you at Madrona.
Absolutely, yeah. Pop in. I'm there at least 3 days a week and taking new patients all the time. Happy to see you.
That's wicked, man. Really appreciate you and the support you're providing to our community.
Thanks.
And before we log off, can we do a simultaneous dunk on 3?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. And that, folks, was our roundup for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of our precious island.